All right, looks like we're gonna go ahead and get started. Let's do it. Hey, Freedom Frugalers, it's time for another episode of Frugal Freedom, where you learn how to become financially independent and have more time to do what you love. But you must be frugal with both in order to do that. Who am I? I am your virtual mentor, Izzy, and today we're going to be learning why budgeting can be the most freeing thing that you can do for your freedom journey. Okay, keep in mind this is a live session, so I will be stopping at certain times to answer your questions, mainly towards the end. But without further ado, we're going to jump right into it. I don't want to take up too much of your time, you guys' time. I know you've been waiting for over 30 minutes, but I didn't even hit the go live button. So that's the issue. So let's get started. But before we do, make sure you grab my free budgeting worksheet if you haven't already. It's a simple step-by-step budgeting guide that walks you through an easy way to budget and still have fun. So whether you're low on income or you're looking to pay down your debts or looking to save, or if you're figuring out how to justify your nights and weekends out, I mean, come on, we're humans, we like to party. Let's go. This guide will certainly help you, and it is the cornerstone of everything that I will be teaching within the next few videos. We got 8 more of these guys. So in order to get that guide, go to 8ivisions.com/become free, or if you're watching this on YouTube after the fact, the link is in the description below. Let's get started. Why do you need a budget? Okay, there's a couple of reasons why you need a budget. I'm going to go into a couple of them. All right, so the first reason, to figure out where your money is going and don't be controlled. And that's the irony of budgeting. When we think about budgeting, we always associate it with no fun or being controlled or having to be disciplined, when in actuality, the writing down a budget or having a budget will free you in so many ways, okay? And this is a given. I know you want to figure out where your money is going. But in order to become financially free, you must figure out where your money is going. And I think Superman said it best: with great money power. Okay, I'm exaggerating, I'm paraphrasing, but but with great power comes great responsibility, okay? In this case, your money is your power. So yes, you have the ability to get money. Yes, you have a job where you're working and paying your bills, but you must also have great responsibility with your money. Good money management is what differentiates someone who is stuck paying off people to the day they die versus people who use that money to become free, okay? Even if you still work after that, you will be able to enjoy what you love. So I want for you guys to get out of the rat race, all right? I want you to stop living paycheck to paycheck as all of us Americans do, okay? There's a select few of us that are out of the rat race and are able to become financially independent. My goal is to get as many people, including myself, to become financially free, all right? I want you to stop living paycheck to paycheck. There's an old saying, and that saying is, a budget is a tool that allows you to control where your money is going so that you don't have to figure out at the end of the month where it went. All right. And when I heard that, that was the most freeing thing that I've heard about budgeting. It's completely changed my perspective on budgeting. So if you haven't heard that, that is a very powerful statement. Keep that to heart. All right. A budget, or, being able to know where your money is going takes you out of the anxiety of wondering who is coming after your money. All right. When we get our paycheck, we're giving it to this person, we're giving it to this bill, we're giving it to this bill, we're paying off this, we're paying off that, we're paying this credit card. But sometimes we get to a point where we have a subscription that we don't even realize we still paying for, or we're set up on an auto pay and figuring out, okay, who do I owe? Who do I owe? And then when that money comes out, or you think you have like a certain point where you're doing good, and then all of a sudden, boom, car payment comes out automatically. That happened to me. $400 out of my paycheck because I didn't account for it, and I was so sad. I was like, yo, it took $400, but I forgot. But when you have a complete speculation of who wants what portion of your money, guess what? You're now in the leader seat. You're now in control of your finances. Okay. I limited myself to 2 subscriptions. I have 2 subscriptions, and that is literally my toothbrush subscription, and that is my Amazon Prime subscription. And I just opened that back up because I buy books. Okay. Another reason why you need to budget is because you want to be able to see what you can save and invest, okay? Or invest, excuse me. All right? So if you're making a low income or a lower income than you want, I know a lot of us want to be making hundreds of thousands of dollars a year, but some of us, including myself, are basically at minimum wage. I think the federal minimum wage is $7.25 an hour. And believe me, at the time of this recording, I am not too far from that. Okay. But most of us, we're living on a lower income than desired. And some of us, that's minimum wage. In this case, you definitely need to budget. Okay. Because you need to be figuring out ways to make more money or even save your money, okay? And that's the reason why you want to have a budget, all right? Another reason is to not go further into debt, okay? I'm going to stop right here. Raise your hand in the chat. Just say I'm raising my hand in the chat if you are somebody that is in debt right now. And you don't have to go into details, but I will raise my hand. All right. I will raise my hand. I'm in debt, but I'm looking to pay that off. So I want to see those of us that are looking to get rid of debt. All right, so I'm going to pause for a few seconds. Balancing this low. Miss Erica says she's balancing this low income and wanting to save. That is a perfect aspect to look at it. You always want to be looking for ways to save. Let's see. All right. My mom says to become free, you must know where your money is going. Yep. Get out of the rat race. That's good knowing where your money is going. That's right, Miss Erica. It's always good to know where your money is going so that you don't know where it went at the end of the month. That has stuck with me to this day. I don't know how late it is, but just going to continue on. But the idea is to not go further into debt, okay? The goal is to continually decrease your debt to income ratio, okay? So you want to always be cutting your expenses and always be making more money, okay? That's the number 2 way. Those are 2 ways. Those are the only 2 ways to become financially free. When it comes to your finances, you want to always be decreasing your expenses and always eventually increasing your income. Okay. And as far as your debt to income ratio, and we'll talk about this later in another series, this is a big thing that most creditors look at when they're determining your approval for things. So if a lot of you didn't know, that's one of the factors when you do a credit check. That's one of the things they look at is how much you have coming in, that you tell them how much you have coming in versus how much you owe. And you'll see that come up again in another thing called net worth. But we'll cover that in a later video as well. All right. So not having a budget, okay. And I don't know if you guys have credit cards. I have 3 of those bad boys. So I know how hard it is to manage 3 credit cards, let alone have one credit card, at least one credit card. But if you have a credit card and you find yourself maxing that credit card and finding that it's hard to if you find that it's hard to drawing a blank here, excuse me. If you find that it's hard to pay down that balance every month, and you find yourself carrying over a balance, this is what I don't want you to do. So not having a budget means that you will spend more on your credit card trying to cover unexpected expenses, because that's usually when we have to spend our credit card. If we don't max it out, spending it on unnecessary things. But another reason why you should budget is because you'll have money left at the end of the month if you do this right. You'll have money left at the end of the month. And the reason is because a budget allows you to see everything that you're spending on, and seeing that you have money left over at the end of the month if you do this right. All right. If you don't have anything left in your bank account when it comes to it, or you find that you're below zero, so you're going into negative net worth, or you're going into negative balances at the end of the month, it's time to cut down some expenses, okay? And we're going to cover that later, so I won't go much in depth about your cutting down expenses and things like that. And having a budget, and the reason why you need it is because you're able to do all of this and still have fun, okay? And that's what I want for you guys. I want you guys to have fun. This is the No Discipline Budgeting series. By the way, hit that like button, and if you haven't already, subscribe. I just pulled a Graham Stephen. I don't know why I did that. But the last reason that I have for why we need a budget is that it's part of being a responsible adult. That is what separates an adult from a child. The big difference between a child and an adult is that a child does what feels good in the moment. An adult wants to feel good, but they have to do what's right. Okay. So part of doing what's right is money management. Okay. And it saddens me that we don't teach that in schools, but that's a little bit of a rant. I won't go into that. But one of my ideas that I have. But let me give this reference an anecdote, okay? Let me give this point an anecdote. Growing up, I had a job at a pizza place, okay? And I'm not going to name this pizza place because no free clout, okay? But at this pizza place, I was making $8 an hour, and that was just customer service and making the food. But I also served pizza at this particular pizza place. Because they had a dining room, so I also made tips off of that. And to put this in perspective, I lived in sort of a rich area. Matter of fact, it wasn't sort of, it was a rich area. So on a given Saturday, if I'm working 8 hours, and mind you, I was still going to school, but I was still in high school, but on a given Saturday, this was easily like $100 in tips plus my checks. All right. So you're probably thinking, oh, Isaiah, you should be swimming in money because you didn't have no responsibilities. You didn't have no bills or anything like that. But let me tell you what happened. Instead of budgeting and saving that money, me and my friend, who also worked at this pizza place with me, and he can attest to this, we would go buy junk food and other things that we didn't need, okay? I think he bought like many pairs of shoes, and it's funny because we had this conversation not too long ago about this particular mistakes growing up. But we would go buy junk food. I mean, we would go to Walmart every single night. Mind you, I worked like almost every night, so in addition to that, I made some buku money, but we spent every night at Walmart buying at least like 70, 80, sometimes $100 worth of junk food, okay? And we would pig out. I'm talking ice cream, Twizzlers, all of that stuff. Part of the reason why I'm fat now and trying to get rid of this weight, but we would buy stuff that we didn't need. So what happened? What changed? Well, as I get older and I'm still into these habits of doing what feels good, guess what happens? More responsibilities, more bills come. I will talk about some of the mistakes that I made and my actual bad decisions that I'm still paying for, literally. But we'll talk about those. But bills and other past decisions, it forced me to budget my money. Okay, it forced me to budget my money because I was like, hey, I'm tired of, now it's a point where I'm only working to pay bills. I'm only working to not have fun, and I don't want that. That's not the reason why I got a job. I wanted a job to be able to pay for the things that I wanted and to be able to have options. Okay, so I'm forced to budget my money now, but now I'm trying to catch up. And like I said, we'll talk about some of my bad decisions that I made to show you guys that I am right there with you. I'm in the trenches with you, learning and growing as you guys grow. Okay, so that's a lot of the reasons why you need to budget. There's many reasons, but I kind of wanted to keep this short and simple. So with that said, starting tomorrow, we're gonna talk about some budgeting methods, but I want to talk about my rules for what your budget should look like, just to kind of put this bug in your ear. And like I said, we'll go more in depth on the next few videos explaining the different types of budgeting that you can use. But here's my idea of a budget. And I like to budget using percentages. So you'll hear me talk about percentages. And the quick way to do that is to multiply your income by the decimal percentage that you're looking to allocate your money towards. And you'll hear me say the word allocate a lot. Trust me. I'm going to be using that word a lot. So for example, if you make $100 a month, hopefully that's not the case if you live in America. But if you make $100 a month and you want to put 10% back for savings, you would multiply 100 times 0.1, and that will give you $10 a month that you would need to save. Okay? So with that in mind, here's some of my rules for when it comes to budgeting. All right? Number one rule: you should always be putting back at least 10% of your earnings before you pay anybody. Okay? And I'm taking a chapter out of The Richest Man in Babylon. And again, I keep having these plugs, but I do have a video that I'm going to be creating where I talk about 5 of my books that made an impact on my life when it comes to finances. That's one of them, Richest Man in Babylon by George S. Clason. But he talks about putting 10% back, okay, before you pay anybody. All right. Me personally, I'm pushing for 75% of my income to savings. I know you're probably like, dang, that's a lot of money, but trust me, it's a process and I will eventually get there. All right. Right now, for me, that's about, I'm saving about 30 to 40% of my income on average. And that depends on the month and how that month goes. I might have a good month. I might have a less than good month. All right. So rule number 2, no more than 50% of your income should go towards expenses. All right. I know for a lot of average Americans, we sometimes see expenses as close to 70-80% of our income, and that's the reason why we live paycheck to paycheck, because we're always trying to catch up on those, and we're one paycheck away from destruction. All right, so like I said, we'll talk about in the later videos how you should go about cutting those. But if your expense category goes over 50% of your income, the ideal is about 30, but if it goes over 50%, you should always be looking to cut those. All right. And if you find that you can't cut it, always negotiate, maybe ask for an extension so that you can catch up with another check, or just cut it. Sometimes you realize that you don't even need it. Okay. Rule number 3, understand while that you can have fun, you must limit yourself until you're able to have more fun. Okay. So like I said, this is the No Discipline Budgeting series. All right. So I don't want you to completely cut out fun. I just want you to temporarily limit how much of that fun you can have to fulfill your goals. Okay. Until your goals are fulfilled and you can have the freedom to have as much fun as you want. I don't care. Okay. For me, what that looks like on my budget is 5 to 7% of my income. And you'll see later on how much of a percentage I'm actually allocating towards each category towards my life. And there goes that word allocating again. uh, Rule number 4, the rest is fair game. But I do suggest that you allocate, there's that word again. I do suggest you allocate that money towards paying down your debts. Me, I go to an extreme of 30 to 40% because I'm trying to annihilate. I'm trying to get rid of. I'm trying to exterminate. I'm trying to decimate. I'm trying to whatever else synonym for get rid of. I'm trying to completely get rid of that debt because I don't want debt in my life. I don't want bad debt, that is, because there is bad debt and good debt. But Proverbs 22:7, if you want to get spiritual about it, Proverbs 22:7 says the borrower is always the slave to the lender. You are always the slave to the lender. So your first goal, if you're in debt, should be to get rid of debt. All right? Or adding more to your savings. Or if you're like me, you're finding ways to invest more money. But here's the thing about investing more money, okay? You can't invest more money if your debtors are just going to come and grab that from you, because what's the point of doing that? Okay? So providing that you have a significant amount of debt paid down, you can find ways to invest more money. That way you can make more risky decisions, okay? Because high risk equals high returns. I think we're on rule number 5. Rule number 5, keep it simple. Ooh, my voice cracked. Keep it simple and keep it clean, all right? No need to try to make some complex Ivy League level budget, all right? That's the thing about us humans. We overcomplicate things. I will say it again. Excuse me. We overcomplicate things. Keep it simple, okay? A simple sheet and paper, or even a simple spreadsheet with like names of the people that you owe or your expenses and numbers. Names and numbers. That works just fine, okay? You don't need to have some accounting level budget, all right, where you figure out how much you're debting someone or how much you're crediting someone. And you don't need all that. You don't need that. You don't even need to figure out the percentages as I'm teaching you. But here's the beautiful thing. In my free guide, shameless plug, in my free guide, I have a budget set up for you that has everything already done for you. So all that you have to do is input the numbers, okay? And I really think you'll get a kick out of it. But whatever is easiest for you, do that first. Because if you boggle yourself down with complex formulas and things like that, you will get discouraged very easily. I know from experience. Last rule is that your budget should be looked at on a weekly basis to assure that you're staying on top of it all. Okay? You can't figure out how much you're progressing if you don't track everything on a weekly basis. So you'll find that Dave Ramsey is one of my go-to mentors when it comes to finance or anything finance related. But one thing that I don't agree with on Dave Ramsey, unpopular opinion, is that I don't think that you should be reviewing your life on a monthly basis or setting your budget up on a monthly basis if you get paid every 1 to 2 weeks, okay? And the reason I say that is because when you do a monthly review, it allows for too many slip-ups, okay? You got 30 days to live your life. If you give yourself 30 days, you will mess up. You will mess up in that time period, and then you're stuck starting over. So I want you to be reviewing your finances every single week and tracking and adjusting your budget. Me, personally, I review my budget and my finances every single Thursday. I have not missed a beat since April, okay? Every single Thursday, I'm reviewing my finances, whether I want to or not. I hate accounting. I hate it, but I love it at the same time. I love numbers. I love everything to do with finances. but I just don't like doing it for me. But I've realized that I have to do it, and I want you guys to do it because it really helps, and I promise it's worth it. All right? So you definitely should, Mom. Okay. All right. So it is 9 o'clock. So I'm just going to end the video. But that's all I have for this video, guys. I hope this helps. Be sure to like, subscribe, and comment down below if you feel I missed anything. And also, if you have any other topics that you would like me to cover, I'm happy to see those below as well. But before you go, be sure to get a copy of my budgeting worksheet sent directly to you and get started today by creating a budget that works for you. If you need help, I'm always here. Email me at izzymadethat@gmail.com. But until then, I've been Izzy, your virtual mentor. I'll see you guys in the next video. Tomorrow, we're going to talk about we're going to start getting into some budgeting methods, okay? And the one that I have for you tomorrow is amazing, okay? So let's end this live, and I'll see you guys.